Well, what a fantastic fortnight to be a Pines football supporter, or a Piner as we call ourselves. It's been a hard 2 decades. We've been cellar dwellers for probably the last, almost 2 decades, 14 years. Looking back, I just think it just gives us some time to just reflect on where we've come from and where we'd like to head. And we're going to be asking for your assistance. I think it probably started 2014 when Trav's committee with Baz Chalkley and little Matty Vander decided to invest in the football department. At the time, we had $70,000 in the bank. A lot of that money was raised by or kept by previous presidents, too many to mention. But I think the other part to that money, which has really helped the club set the foundation, was Russell Harris's 37 years of bingo fundraising, which is an amazing achievement, has helped that kitty. And what we decided to do then was invest in our football department. We realised that the juniors that we relied on for so long during our successful years were no longer there. People had left the Pines, they were living in Langwarrin and Mount Eliza and other suburbs, and then we really had to become a club that looked seriously at recruiting. Obviously getting Paddy initially in the same year that we were able to get Aaron and Chewy and Bongo and Potsy, and keep adding to that list of players. It's just very fulfilling for the whole club to see us where we're at now. I think, to be fair, back in those days, our choices were to either amalgamate with Seaford or potentially play Division 2 and not really have a crack at being a Division 1 side. But thanks to Trav's committee, and now Jeff's been in the helm for his 2nd year, and the great committee he's got working with him, we've been able to stabilise the club financially and obviously reach our first grand final in 16 years. So if I've got a smile on the face, you know why that's for. We've been a good citizen under Jeff's reign, in that we've taken the kind approach to Cranbourne and the other clubs that wanting to join in Division 3. We've been a good citizen of the MPNFL game face. We've adapted to that, and we've tried to be a club where, what we call a destination club, where people want to come, and we're aware of our brand, what we've had before, and both the good and the bad. More good than bad, but we've realised that we've got to change with the times, and some of the behaviours that we exuded before we had to change, and we've done that successfully. We've made 4 successive finals. I mean, let's not underestimate that. So this is our 4th appearance, obviously our first grand final appearance. So we've actually gone from being a bottom club 5 years ago to a consistent finals performer, and obviously one step away from the ultimate. I think one of the keys to that too has been the coaching area. So the 3 coaches that we've got have all played in both winning and losing, which is just as important, I believe. Senior grand final sides at Pines. So we're talking about obviously Paddy Swain at the top. We're talking about Corny, Glenn Cornell. Remember him kicking 6 goals in a winning grand final. And obviously Steve Jackson, if not at least up there with the top players we've ever produced at Pines, coaching the thirds. And the other thing that we did well with those thirds boys, and thanks to those parents and people who helped out, was do the hard yards, play under 17-year-old kids when they're playing under 19 competition, to keep those kids together. And we just missed out on finals this year with the thirds, but we're looking to go another step next year. And the other pleasing thing was Rob Keeley's fourths made a grand final. So for 2 of our top 4 clubs, our 4 senior clubs, to make grand finals, it's just been a fantastic turnaround for our club. I think the significant achievements that we should reflect on and just talk about are that we actually own our rooms. Not every club can say that. We've spent $250,000 on lighting. From the bad old days or good old days, whichever way you looked at it, they're fantastic. We can play night football and may look at that next year. We've been able to provide players with elite coaching. And when we say that, one of the great initiatives that Darren Ash brought in this year, who's on our committee, was to go and approach Dean Laidley to give our coaches another resource. And can I say that from an observer from match day, I think the players and the coaches have all got a lot out of that, and it's enabled us to go to another level. We've been able to increase our netball club. We now have four senior teams, and growing. We've been able to amalgamate our juniors into our seniors, thanks to Damien Push, who's been a long time president there at the junior club. We're actually looking to rebuild the junior rooms at the Pat Rollo Reserve. We've lobbied both the national, state government and councils to what we hope will be a women's only change room facility on the wing, with the ability to perhaps have a viewing room come shared facility on match days, on game days, which would be huge. And we're talking somewhere between $2 to $3 million on that project. So we've been very busy. It's not just been football, it's been about thinking of the future and what does our infrastructure look like. I think we've successfully reconnected a lot of past Pines people to the current. Why am I telling you all this? Well, whilst we've killed it on the field, the year has been tough financially. Can I say, as a financial planner, having doing this for a living for 35 years, there's really only two ways to make a profit on any business. It's we either reduce costs or we increase revenues. We've gone through over several committees, looked at ways we can reduce costs, and I believe to play with the big boys in Division 1, the costs that are associated with the club currently is at a minimum. So what we need to do is raise the revenues. Where Paddy and the playing group lose sleep over matchups, injuries, we the committee lose sleep over the finances. I'm just going to share some of those with you because I just don't think people realise. The salary cap in Division 1 competition is $150,000. Our AFL affiliation fee is $6,400 per year. We pay $1,621 a week to be affiliated with the Mornington Peninsula Football League, arguably the second or third strongest league in the country league in Victoria. Our winter tenancy or rent for the council is $7,500 per year. The trainers, tape, it's $25,000 spend. Coaches, $20,000. Our power bills just for the lights, $9,500. Gas bill for the year, $4,000. We've had about a $10,000 drop off in sponsorship. Some of that's due to people that have pledged money that just haven't paid, and other parts is just sponsors that are no longer with us. Why am I sharing this all with you? Because we actually need your help financially. You may not be able to be a sponsor, but become a member. I look on our Facebook page and I see 1,100 Facebook members. If we had each of you as a financial member, our money problems would be over. I think when I look at the past committees, and you could ask Trav personally, but I think I'm right in saying this, a lot of the reason the presidents and the committee move on or leave is because of the pressure they feel in running a club. It's a huge responsibility these days. We need to turn over $400,000 to make our club work. Our best estimates with 3 functions to go is that we'll probably be $25,000 down. We were about 15 down last year, so net $25,000 down. It sounds like a lot. I don't think it is a lot. It just means we need to get more people engaged with the club. If I'd have asked you 5 years ago, when we were on the bottom of the ladder, would you help me raise $25,000 over the subsequent 4 years to see us play off in the grand final? I'm sure you would have said yes. When you watch Potsy's Game Face video and see Jacob Boyle, a 16-year-old kid when he first played, tearing up after realising he's just playing in his first senior grand final, you'd pay all that money plus some. We've invested in our players and our coaches, and they've invested back in the club. What I'm asking for on behalf of the committee is a financial chop out this year, of course, but probably even more importantly for next year and the future years. The funny thing about our club is that we've got 90 life members. Now, the club understands and respects and appreciates the contribution you made as a life member to make our club what it is today. But life members don't pay the bills. It's a free membership. It doesn't actually help us sustain our club for the long term. So I'd ask all those life members to consider buying a separate membership or making a donation to the club. 90 times 50 is $4,500. It's a great way to, if we could do that, would be a huge contribution to the club. We've loved the last few weeks at Mornington, seeing the Pines crowd louder and prouder than most. But I can't help but think when I look around the hill, we've got about 150 members outside of our sponsors. There must have been 500 to 600 people minimum on that hill. Please consider buying a membership. It would make a huge difference to us. As we've said all along in our marketing when we've rang you during the years leading up to the season, if you're a real Pines person, put your money where your mouth is. Put your arms around us financially. I guess what I keep thinking about is the future. We know where we are at the moment. We're in a great place. But you can't help but think the things that we've put in place to make the club sustainable, we've had to do some major changes. We've basically changed our business model with a combination of smart recruiting and reinvigorating both our junior and senior programs. We're competing with super clubs around us. You don't realise, but Mount Eliza, Langwarrin, Seaford, all their junior clubs have got 20 plus. Some cases Mount Eliza have got 26 junior clubs. We've got 6. So you can imagine what that does to your under 17s, under 19s, and then your future talent pool for reserves and then seniors. It's a lot smaller. Sorrento would spill more than we can make at our functions due to their demographic. You know, the $90 per head, 120 seat audience every home game. Now, does it mean they're better supporters? Of course they're not. How many turned up on the weekend? But the thing is, they're a financial powerhouse and they've got the capability to do things that we sometimes dream about. Our reality is that we need more people involved financially as sponsors, members. We don't ask for huge amounts, but we need small amounts. I guess what I can't help but thinking about is Bo's son Brock, when I watch him in the rooms while Bo's training. We want Brock to be able to play at Pines like his granddad Gordon did. Look, thanks to our major sponsors and our members, the 150 of you. Without you, we wouldn't have got where we've got to today. In particular, I'd like to thank Wayne Allen from Climate Zone, Darren Ash from Freight Cost Solutions, Michelle Graham from Graham Quarries, Dougie Hodgson from Boost Juices, Chris Kensel from CK Formwork, Rob Keeley from Meridian Roofing, Gary Long, who's a long-term member and whose dad used to run the gate when we were playing back in the 80s, Jack Norris, one of our legend footballers who's living in Atlanta and is still our second biggest sponsor, Joe Russo from Core, Terry Spalding, household name at our club, Jeff Sfigos, the president, Graham Tedge, fantastic past player, John Woolsgrove, committee man, barman, been involved with the club for 50 plus years, and Gary Rowe, our newest sponsor from Bendigo Bank. So thanks to you people. You've at least got us most of the way, and again, to the members as well, that's respected. Look, our functions begin Sunday. The boys have got training at Eric Bell Reserve. For those sponsors that I've read out that would like to come down at 8:30, we're doing a photo shoot of the team, and there's an opportunity there for you to be in that photo. The following Thursday, the Thursday selection night, meals will be served there from 6:30 onwards. Come down and have a beer and support the boys at training. We're doing for the first time ever a champagne breakfast at the rooms. It's only $30 per head, and it's really a celebration. It's for all Pines people to get together and just relive a great year and a great 5 years and a great 55 years. Come down before the main match starts and enjoy a couple of beers, champagne, and a great breakfast that Gabe puts on. The grand final function will be back at the rooms. It'll be it will be $20 for members, and it'll be $50 for non-members. And we're obviously expecting a huge crowd, and we'd love to see your face there. We'll have food on sale. Gabe will have food there, so you know, if you're going straight from Frankston Park and wanting to have a meal and a few beers, come back. We'll have something there for you. We're going to have some exciting announcements over particular players that we've chased during the later half of the season. We've been able to secure 99% of our playing group. They're all staying next year. And what a fantastic awards night when you saw, I think it was 5 of our boys make the team of the century. I thought Guy was really stiff not to be the sixth person. Aaron Wynne's, obviously the leading goal kicker, fantastic after missing the first few games. And for Chewy Scanlon to win back-to-back league medals after almost, I think, lost the one previous by 2 votes. What an ornament to him, to the game and to our club he's been, and what a fantastic person. Look, as I said, if you can't support us financially, consider giving us some time. I'm talking about next year now. We're talking about the committee. We've started planning. We don't want to ever see us languishing where we did for that sort of 14-year period. The Pines is a fantastic club, and we don't deserve to be in the bottom half of any competition. So thanks for your support. Let's all get down there during the week, get around the boys, and go Piners.